I'm Avery Skye, welcome to my channel. Today is a very special episode because we're going to be preparing some dinner for Valentine's Day. We will be making an aphrodisiac charcuterie board. Not only is this going to taste and look delicious, but this is going to make you and your partner feel great afterwards. So if you want to enjoy some tasty treats, keep watching this video and let's make a charcuterie board together. If this is your first time making a charcuterie board, you're definitely going to have to get a shopping list going. The essentials will always be your meat and cheeses, so let's get into it. I really like prosciutto, salami, any sort of Italian meats are delicious. And then for cheeses, I always recommend a nice brie, some Havarti cheese, and then I also like to have a spread cheese just like this. It's so tasty. And then this is going to be an aphrodisiac board, so we need to have the right ingredients that are going to make you feel spicy after. So we're gonna want some strawberries, some dark fruits like blackberries. Chocolate is one of the perfect ingredients to get yourself in the mood. And then we also like to have some chili peppers. A little bit of spice is great. And then we've got some rose petals for a nice aromatic finish. And then coffee is also a really well-known aphrodisiac. And then some nuts as well. So I've got some walnuts, hazelnuts, and almonds. You're going to have so much fun putting this together. So let's get started. First, let's start doing our meat and cheese on the platter. So take your plate of meats and let's start spreading it around. Now I've got a nice pile of salami. And these are nice because they're already pre-stacked, so we can kind of keep them in the stack that they came in. And now let's get into our cheese. So I always like to have the brie in its own area. So let's put that right there. And then we can take our spreadable cheese. There's so many options you can do for this. If you wanted to do a goat cheese or something like that, go for it. I like this herb boursin cheese. It's so delicious. That looks good so far. And then we can move into some olives. So olives are kind of nice because you only want small amounts of them in different areas of the board. It adds a pop of color to the table. And then we can add a couple pickles as well. Throw some over there. And now we can move into our fresh fruits. So raspberries are a really tasty aphrodisiac. If you have raspberries and chocolate, it's one of my favorite combinations. Blackberries too will be so delicious, and I love to have blackberries in an area where there's a white cheese. I feel like the contrast of color looks so good. And let's add a couple strawberries to the plate too to add a nice red color. And now that we've got some red on the plate, let's start making a couple spots for these chili peppers. It will look really nice. So chilies are also an aphrodisiac. They will definitely get you in the mood. It's also a little bit crazy to be playing with temperature though, so be careful if you can't handle the spice, then maybe leave these ones out, but otherwise they're such a tasty treat. And now we have to leave some room for our jams. So I've got a blackberry, blueberry, basil jam here. That is going to be so tasty, so I'll leave that in the corner. And then I also have this chili jam, which looks super tasty, so I'll leave that right there. So I feel like we have all of our main ingredients. One thing you want to have with this too is some chocolate. So chocolate is known to be a aphrodisiac, but you don't want to mix it beside like your meats and cheeses, so make sure you have kind of a separate area for that. And some dark chocolate too is definitely going to get you in the mood for Valentine's Day. And then with the dates or figs, these are ones that I really like. You can get them either dried or fresh if you'd like. One of my favorite things would be fresh figs, but of course they're not usually in season around Valentine's Day, so you might have to settle on the dehydrated ones, but they're still so delicious if you can get your hands on them. That's looking really good so far. We have a few areas of gaps that we are definitely gonna wanna fill in. So let's see if we can start accessorizing our charcuterie board with some little divots. Let's see here. And next we can move into some fresh coffee beans, and then we can kind of use these to fill in the gaps of areas that are empty on the board, like this area too. And I like to accessorize with some dehydrated fruit. And then I've also got some limes as well, which is really nice because they have a black color to them. All right, now let's move on to our herbs and nuts. So we'll take some of our fresh herbs. I really like thyme, rosemary, and sage. And you're gonna just tuck these in. Usually around the cheese is a nice area to have them. And then now we'll take some of our nuts. Got some almonds there, and we'll take some fresh hazelnuts and some walnuts. And I've got some cranberries as well. These are really nice to have on your board. And I wanted to accessorize with a couple of Valentine's Day accessories, so I've got some sprinkles. And then just some space for the crackers as well. A few extra rose petals. That's looking pretty good to me. I feel like I have all the essential aphrodisiacs on my platter. The only thing we're missing is a bottle of wine. So red wine is gonna pair really well with all of the ingredients on the board, especially this one. It's got a little bit of a spice to it. And if you've ever had a glass of red wine, or 2 or 3, you'll notice that it definitely gets you feeling in the mood after. So pour yourself a nice glass and one for your partner. And now you're all set for Valentine's Day. I'm so excited to enjoy this amazing platter for Valentine's Day, and I hope that you'll make something similar for your partner too. Everything on this board is gonna make you feel super excited for the night, and you're gonna have one of the most amazing Valentine's Days ever.